In the realm of spiritual understanding, we often overlook the profound yet simple truth that the blessings of God are not just fleeting moments of grace, but rather they are absolute and everlasting. These blessings remind us that there is always more to experience in our relationship with God, which is deep and filled with divine mysteries. When we choose to follow Jesus Christ in life, our journey becomes an exciting adventure. It's not just about living, it's about enjoying never-ending blessings and goodness from God. It's important to understand that what we think is the highest point of our spiritual life is often just the start of what God has planned for us. He always wants to bless us, making life simpler and more meaningful when we are surrounded by His love. However, there is a key to unlocking these abundant blessings. The Bible, in the book of James 1:17, says that every good gift comes from God, who doesn't change. This verse is not just words, it's a key to understanding and receiving even better blessings. To really accept God's kindness, we need to open our hearts and minds and make promises with God that strengthen our bond with Him, allowing His endless grace to keep flowing into our lives. Every perfect gift is from God, but not all gifts you receive are from God, as they're often not perfect. When you get a gift from God and recognize its perfection, that's when it becomes a blessing. Beloved, God is sending you His blessings this season. Just be ready to receive them. Listen, the reason why many of us haven't moved forward for so many years is that we haven't allowed God to bring these blessings into our lives. We have acknowledged that every perfect gift comes from God, so if you are not seeing the perfection of God in your life, it is because His blessings have not rested in your life yet. And when you decide to settle down and check for the reasons why, you will be shocked to realize you have been the one locking the doors against your own blessings. God is always ready to bless you. In fact, in His words, there are over 100 times where God promised us that He was bringing us into better blessings. He told us in the book of 2 Corinthians 9-8, "And God is able to make all grace abound to you, so that having all sufficiency in all things at all times, you may abound in every good work." This passage is the assurance that God is always in the business of supplying your blessings for our daily existence. The plans of God majorly focus on making your journey with Him less burdensome and less stressful. I told you earlier that He is committed to blessing you, and this passage in Corinthians just told us that in very explicit terms. God is committed, and is surely bringing better blessings to you. Open your doorways and let Him deliver His promises. The blessings of God are delivered when our preparedness meets God's timing. What do I mean? The blessings of God only arrive in the life of the one who is prepared to accommodate it. No matter the hunger your child is feeling, no matter the appeal of the food you have made for that child, if he or she does not open her mouth to receive that food, that baby will stay hungry and probably get sick from malnutrition. The same way it is with the blessings of God. A child of God can be existing in the atmosphere of the blessings of God, and yet not partaking them. You can be in close proximity to those who are experiencing God's blessings, living in the same space and sharing daily life with them, yet find yourself in constant need and desire. This happens when you haven't readied yourself to receive such blessings. You haven't opened the doorways of your heart and mind to embrace them. To truly benefit from God's blessings, you need to prepare internally, aligning your thoughts, beliefs, and actions with the openness and readiness to accept what God has in store for you. It's about creating a welcoming space within yourself for these blessings to reside and flourish. In the book of Kings, the Bible tells the story of Elijah and the Shunammite woman. The woman was childless, as Elijah regularly passed through her town of Shun. It's recorded in the book of 2 Kings 4-9. She said to her husband, "Look, I am sure this is a holy man of God, who passes by us often. Please let us make a small upper room on the wall and put a bed, a table, a chair, and the lamb stand there for him. Then whenever he comes to us, he can stay there." The woman and her husband made their home welcoming for the prophet of God. As the story continues, this woman eventually conceived a child, and the significant miracle of resurrection occurred in that house. All because the family opened their home to receive God's blessings. When the woman and her husband welcomed the prophet into their home, they got a special blessing. They showed great faith and kindness by making room for him. This kind gesture led to something amazing they didn't expect. This story teaches us that when we open our homes and hearts to God's work and his messengers, we might receive wonderful blessings. It's about being open and ready for God to do something special in our lives. Their act of kindness and belief brought a miracle, showing that when we welcome God's plans, amazing things can happen. Hear me, child of God. God's blessings can come in different ways and manners, and the only way you can be sure not to miss them is to leave your doors wide open to receive him and the blessings he carries. Enlarge your capacity. The same prophet Elijah was traveling through another town when he met a widow who was the wife of a prophet. She was alone, trying to take care of her 2 sons during a famine. Her sons were about to be taken away as slaves because of a debt left by their late father. It was time for this woman to receive a blessing from heaven, and the prophet was in her town. She welcomed the prophet into her home and gave him her last meal. After this act of kindness, God blessed them miraculously. Oil kept flowing, and they collected it in jars until there were no more jars left. This story, from 2 Kings 4-3, illustrates the prophet's instruction. Go borrow empty vessels from all your neighbors. Don't just get a few. After you've gathered them, close the door behind you and your sons. Then pour oil into all these vessels and set aside the ones that are full. As she followed the prophet's instructions, something incredible happened. Every vessel she borrowed was filled with oil, one after another, without the oil running out. This miracle not only provided the means for her to pay off the debt, but also ensured she and her sons had enough to live on. Her faith and obedience to the prophet's words turned her desperate situation into one of abundance and hope. This story shows how strong faith can be and why it's important to listen to God, even when his advice seems strange, capacity beyond your imagination, because the blessings that God promised us are beyond our imaginations. He took Abraham to the seaside at midnight and made him count the stars. When Abraham could no longer count, God made him a promise in Genesis 22:17. I will surely bless you and make your descendants as numerous as the stars in the sky, and as the sand on the seashore. Your descendants will take possession of the cities of their enemies. When God made this promise to Abraham, he and his wife were still childless and already in their old age. But when he left the presence of the Lord, Abraham went ahead to make preparations for his life in accordance with the promise God had given him. The capacity of God to bring you better and bigger blessings is not in question. The question is, do you have the capacity to carry the blessings? How do you open the doorways of your life to receive blessings? Rid your mind of anything that prevents the presence of God. God cannot bless a heart that is full of hatred, malice, jealousy, anger, and bitterness. God is the King of light, and his blessings cannot dwell in darkness. Getting rid of all these negative things from your heart prepares your life for the blessings of God. Synchronize your plans with God. Remember when I said earlier that God is always ready to bring you blessings, but until your preparations meet God's timing, your blessings remain a promise. One of the ways you can open the doorways of your life to receive God's blessing on time and every time is to align your plans with his own. The plans of God are always sure, true, and efficiently trustworthy. What you do for yourself when you align your plans with God is you give him complete control of your affairs, and so he begins to bless your life as he sees fit. It is like entering into a full care covenant with God, who then begins to bless your life not just according to his riches and glory, but also according to the timing and needs of your life. When you align your plans with God's, it's like letting him take charge of your life. You trust him with everything. Then God starts to bless you in the best way possible. He doesn't just give blessings based on what he has. but He also looks at what you need and when you need it. It's like making a deal with God, where He takes full care of you, ensuring that the blessing you get are just right for what you're going through. This shows how much God understands and cares for each of us, giving us not only a lot, but also exactly what we need at the right time. The book of Revelation 3:20 goes like this: "Look, I'm right here at the door knocking. If you listen to my voice and open the door, I'll come in, and we'll share a meal as friends." That's Jesus wanting to enter your heart. Just like when the prophet Elijah visited the widow and the Shunammite woman's homes, and blessings and miracles came with him. Imagine the good things that come with a prophet. Now think about how much more blessing and favor God Himself brings. Listen, God is standing at the door of your heart, and He keeps knocking and waiting for you to let Him in. Imagine the kind of ease and contentment He comes with. God is bringing better blessings your way, and He is standing at your heart, blessings and favors in hand, waiting for you to grant Him access. Open your doorways today, and let God step in to relieve you of those unnecessary stress and bring you into the promise of the blessings which has been given even before you were born. Let God in to lift those heavy burdens off your shoulders and lead you into the blessings that have been waiting for you since before you were even born. When you do, you'll find a peace and strength that's been there all along, just waiting for you to reach out and grab it. Trust me, it's a step you'll never regret taking. In summary, embracing God's blessings requires more than just wishful thinking. It involves actively preparing our hearts and lives, aligning our plans with God's will, and being open to His timing and ways. As we do this, we become ready to receive the abundant blessings He has in store for us. This journey of faith is not always easy, but it is always rewarding. It's a path that brings us closer to God, enriches our lives, and fills us with a sense of purpose and fulfillment that can only come from a deeper connection with the divine. So, open your heart, align your plans, and be ready to embrace the wondrous blessings God has prepared for you. As you continue on this journey of faith, remember that embracing God's blessings is not a passive act. It's a dynamic, ongoing process that involves continual growth, learning, and adaptation. Life's challenges and uncertainties may sometimes make it difficult to see God's hand at work, but it is precisely in these moments that our faith is tested and can grow stronger. Trusting in God's plan, understanding that His ways are higher than our ways, and His thoughts are higher than our thoughts, as stated in Isaiah 55:9. This trust doesn't come automatically. It's built over time through experiences, both good and challenging, that teach us about God's faithfulness and love. It's about learning to see the blessings in every situation, recognizing that even in trials and hardships, there's an opportunity for growth and deeper understanding. It's also important to maintain a community of faith, where you can share experiences, find support, and grow together. The Bible talks about the importance of fellowship, Hebrews 10:24-25, encouraging us to consider how we may spur one another on toward love and good deeds. Not giving up meeting together, but encouraging one another. Being part of a faith community allows you to witness God's work in the lives of others, which can be incredibly affirming and inspiring. Prayer is another vital aspect of this journey. It's through prayer that we communicate with God, express our desires, concerns, and thankfulness, and listen for His guidance. Philippians 4:6-7 tells us to not be anxious about anything, but in every situation, by prayer and petition, with thanksgiving, present your requests to God. Prayer is a powerful tool that not only brings us closer to God, but it also helps align our hearts with His will. Finally, remember that walking in faith and embracing God's blessings is a lifelong journey. It's not about reaching a destination or a specific level of spiritual achievement, but rather about the continual process of becoming more like Christ. This journey involves learning, stumbling, getting back up, and growing. It's a path filled with joy, peace, challenges, and victories, all of which shape us into the people God intends us to be. In closing, let your heart be open to the endless possibilities that a life lived in faith offers. Let your spirit be guided by God's word and your path illuminated by His love. With each step, trust that God is with you, leading you to a life of abundant blessings and profound fulfillment. This journey with God is the greatest adventure you can embark on, and it promises a future filled with hope, joy, and endless blessings.